The quantum sensors aboard Earth's Outer Ring Defense Station Beta 7 picked up the energy signatures at 3:42 Universal Earth time. Dr. Elena Santos stared at the readings, her dark eyes reflecting the holographic display as she ran the analysis 3 more times. After 15 years of monitoring deep space, she knew what she was seeing, but she could barely believe it. "Director Chen," she called out, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "We have a situation." Victoria Chen materialized from her office within seconds, her silver-streaked hair pulled back in a tight bun. As head of Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Program, she'd overseen humanity's secret observation of alien civilizations for the past decade. "What have you found?" "Multiple quantum wake signatures, consistent with faster-than-light travel. But these aren't normal transport patterns." Helena expanded the holographic display, highlighting the energy patterns in red. "They're weapon signatures. Someone's fighting out there." The battle was taking place nearly 2 light-years from Earth's solar system. Under normal circumstances, humanity would continue their policy of non-intervention, gathering intelligence while maintaining their carefully crafted image of a pre-spaceflight civilization. But these circumstances were far from normal. "The defending ships," Elena continued, "they're Alderians. The peaceful ones we've been monitoring. The aggressors." She pulled up another analysis. Chronax warships, 12 of them against 3 Alderian science vessels. Chen's expression hardened. The Chronax were the galaxy's bullies, a militaristic species that had spent the last century expanding their territory through force. Humanity had watched them conquer 2 other civilizations already, staying hidden, gathering intelligence, and building their defenses in secret. "The Alderians don't stand a chance," Elena said softly. "Their ships aren't even armed." Chen studied the data for a long moment. Humanity's official policy was clear: maintain the deception, stay hidden, prepare. But she hadn't spent her life protecting Earth just to watch innocent beings die when they had the power to help. "Get me the Defense Council," she ordered. "Priority Alpha." Within minutes, the quantum-encrypted conference was connected. 5 faces appeared in holographic form around Chen's office, the heads of Earth's hidden military branches. She quickly briefed them on the situation. "Absolutely not," General Marcus Rivera said immediately. "We cannot risk exposing ourselves. The Chronax have 37 colonial systems. If they discover Earth's true capabilities—" "We don't have to expose ourselves," Chen interrupted. She pulled up a new holographic display. "Look at these quantum signatures. The Chronax are using fairly primitive FTL technology. They can't detect our stealth systems. We can help the Alderians without revealing ourselves." Admiral Sarah O'Connor leaned forward, her hologram flickering slightly. "What exactly are you proposing?" "Operation Ghostlight," Chen replied. "We use our quantum phase generators to create the appearance of a natural phenomenon. Say, an unexpected spatial anomaly that just happens to disable the Chronax weapon systems. The Alderians escape, the Chronax blame bad luck, and our existence remains hidden. It's risky," Dr. James Liu, head of Advanced Technologies, mused. "But Chen's right about their detection capabilities. Their quantum sensors are at least 3 generations behind ours. They literally cannot perceive our phase-shifted technology." The debate raged for precious minutes as the Chronax ships closed in on their prey. Finally, Council President Diana Wells raised her hand for silence. "We've spent 50 years hiding in the shadows, building our defenses, watching other civilizations suffer. At some point, we have to decide what kind of species we want to be. Take the vote." 4 lights turned green. 1 remained red. "Authorized," Wells declared. "Maintain complete deniability. Make it look natural." Chen turned to her tactical display. "Ghost Fleet Epsilon, you are cleared to engage. Phase shift at maximum. Remember, we're not here to fight. We're here to create a miracle." In the void between stars, Humanity's most advanced ships slipped through space like quantum shadows. Their hulls, crafted from bioorganic metals that adapted to any scan, were shifted slightly out of phase with normal spacetime. To the Chronax's sensors, they didn't exist at all. The battle unfolded exactly as planned. As the Chronax opened fire on the Eldarian vessels, their weapon systems suddenly failed. Power fluctuations cascaded through their ships. Targeting computers displayed impossible readings. And through it all, their sensors detected nothing but a strange quantum disturbance that their scientists would spend years trying to explain. The Eldarian ships escaped, their crews marveling at their miraculous survival. The Chronax fleet retreated in frustration, their reports blaming faulty equipment and spatial anomalies. And humanity's ghost fleet slipped away, leaving no trace of their intervention. Back at Beta 7, Alina watched the Eldarians jump to safety. "We saved them," she whispered. "Yes," Chen replied, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. "But we've also taken our first step onto a very dangerous path. The Chronax will be back, and they'll be angry. They'll want to know why their weapons failed." "Let them wonder," Alina said firmly. "Maybe it's time someone taught them that the galaxy doesn't belong to the strongest guns." Chen smiled slightly. "Perhaps. But for now, we return to the shadows. We watch, we prepare, and when the time comes to finally show ourselves." She trailed off, watching the Chronax ships limp away. Well, let's just say they're going to learn that humanity has been playing a very, very long game. As Beta 7 returned to its quiet vigil, Alina couldn't help but feel that everything had changed. Humanity had finally taken direct action to protect another species. They had chosen to use their advanced technology not for conquest or dominance, but to save lives while remaining hidden. It was a new kind of power, subtle, secretive, but no less significant. The galaxy was changing, one hidden intervention at a time. And humanity, invisible but ever present, was leading that change from the shadows. 6 months after the Eldarian incident, the Quantum Command Center beneath Mount Denali buzzed with activity. Holographic displays showed dozens of stealth satellites and automated defense platforms being deployed across neighboring star systems, all phase-shifted to remain undetectable to conventional sensors. Commander Maya Rodriguez supervised the operation from her central platform, her augmented reality implants processing vast streams of data. "Guardian Network is at 60% coverage," she reported to the assembled Defense Council. "We've successfully established quantum surveillance over 8 potential Chronax invasion routes." The council members' holograms flickered in the dim light. President Wells nodded approvingly. "And they suspect nothing." "Better than that," Maya smiled. "They've actually increased civilian traffic through these sectors, believing them to be completely undefended. Our sensor ghosts are working perfectly." The sensor ghosts were humanity's latest innovation, quantum-shifted platforms that could create false readings in enemy scanning systems. To the Chronax, these sectors appeared to be empty space, devoid of any defensive measures. In reality, they were among the most heavily monitored regions in known space. Dr. Liu's hologram gestured, bringing up new technical specifications. "The biomimetic camouflage is exceeding expectations. The platforms actually adapt to local quantum fluctuations, making them virtually impossible to detect even with advanced scanning technology." "Which the Chronax don't have," General Rivera added, his earlier opposition to intervention now tempered by the program's success. "Their latest sensor sweeps didn't even come close to detecting our presence." The meeting was interrupted by a priority alert. A young technician, Lieutenant David Chen, rushed to the command platform. "Commander, we've detected Chronax warships approaching the Tellarian colony in Sector 7. 3 heavy cruisers, combat formation." Maya's augments instantly displayed the tactical overlay. The Tellarians were another peaceful species, barely space-capable. Their colony would be defenseless against a Chronax assault. "Guardian platforms in range?" she asked. 4 satellites, 2 defense platforms, All ghosts shifted and ready. Maya turned to the council. Request permission to activate countermeasures. President Wells didn't hesitate. Granted. Maintain our cover story. Make it look like environmental interference. Maya's fingers danced through the holographic controls. In the void of space, invisible platforms began their work. As the Kronak ships approached the Tellurian colony, their sensors began reporting strange anomalies. Navigation systems showed phantom gravitational distortions. Communication arrays picked up impossible interference patterns. "They're slowing," David reported. "Lead ship is reporting equipment malfunctions. Their weapon systems are going offline." The Kronak's commanders, frustrated by their inexplicably failing technology, had no choice but to abort their attack. As their ships retreated, Maya allowed herself a small smile. Another civilization saved, and the Kronaks were none the wiser. But the victory was bittersweet. "They're getting bolder," she observed. "This is the third attempted invasion in 2 months, which is exactly why we need to expand the Guardian network," Dr. Liu responded. "Every failed attack makes them more desperate, more likely to make mistakes." General Rivera's hologram nodded. "And every failure damages their reputation. Other species are beginning to whisper that the mighty Kronaks aren't so mighty anymore." "That's what worries me," Maya said. "They're going to start looking for answers soon. And when they do," President Wells interrupted, "they'll find nothing but shadows and malfunctions." "That's the beauty of our approach, Commander. We're not just protecting these worlds, we're changing how the galaxy thinks about power." The discussion was interrupted by another alert. This time, it wasn't the Kronaks. A small trading vessel, badly damaged and trailing plasma, had appeared at the edge of monitored space. Its crew was broadcasting a distress signal on all frequencies. Maya checked the ship's registry. "Megorian merchant vessel. Looks like they hit a micro-meteor storm." She paused. "They're not going to make it to the nearest port." The council members exchanged glances. Saving the ship would mean direct intervention, not just defensive measures. The risk of exposure would be significantly higher. "We can't save everyone," General Rivera warned. "The policy is clear." Maya studied the dying ship's signal. "Actually," she said slowly, "we might not have to expose ourselves at all." She pulled up a new tactical display. "There's a Tellurian survey ship in range. If we use the Guardian platforms to guide them to the accident." President Wells caught on immediately. "We create another miracle. The Tellurians just happen to be in the right place at the right time." "Exactly. The Megorians get saved, the Tellurians get to be heroes, and we remain invisible." The council approved the plan unanimously. Within hours, a Tellurian survey ship, gently nudged off course by inexplicable sensor readings, discovered the damaged Megorian vessel. The rescue was celebrated across local space as a testament to interspecies cooperation. In her command center, Maya watched the aftermath with satisfaction. "The galaxy's changing," she told David. "Species that used to fear each other are starting to help each other, and they don't even know we're the ones making it happen." "Isn't that the point?" David replied. "The best guardians are the ones you never see." Maya nodded, turning back to her displays. Across monitored space, dozens of phantom platforms continued their silent vigil. Humanity's hidden hand was slowly, carefully reshaping the galaxy, not through force or dominance, but through carefully orchestrated acts of salvation and cooperation. The Kronaks might rule through fear, but humanity had chosen a different path. They would protect, guide, and nurture, all while remaining in the shadows. And perhaps when the galaxy was ready, they would finally step into the light. Supreme Commander Vexkar of the Kronak's Imperial Fleet paced the crystalline bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion. His scaled skin rippled with barely contained fury as he reviewed the latest failed conquest attempt. "Impossible," he snarled, claws clicking against the tactical display. "This is the 12th mission in 3 cycles that has failed due to equipment malfunction. Our technology is the finest in known space. These failures cannot be coincidental. His science officer, Renthal, adjusted her sensory membranes nervously. The data is puzzling. Supreme Commander, each incident appears random when viewed individually, but when analyzed as a pattern. She manipulated the holographic display, showing a complex web of mission failures, system malfunctions, and inexplicable phenomena. Someone is interfering, Vexcar concluded. But who? And how? Back on Earth, Director Chen watched the Kronax command meeting through quantum-shifted surveillance probes. They're starting to connect the dots, she informed her team. Sooner or later, they'll realize these aren't natural occurrences. Let them look. Commander Rodriguez replied from her station at Guardian Control. They're searching for advanced technology, weapons, shield systems. They'll never think to look for something as simple as influenced probability and guided coincidence. But the Kronax were nothing if not thorough. Vexcar ordered a full investigation, deploying their most advanced sensor arrays across their territory. They began cataloging every anomaly, every unexplained malfunction, seeking patterns in the chaos. The incidents cluster around our expansion efforts, Renthal reported weeks later. Whenever we approach a new system, whenever we prepare for conquest, these disruptions occur. But our sensors detect nothing. No ships, no defense platforms, no energy signatures. Vexcar's facial scales darkened with rage. Because we're not looking for the right thing. These aren't random failures. They're attacks. Subtle, invisible, but attacks nonetheless. In the depths of Mount Denali, the Defense Council convened an emergency session. The Kronax are adapting faster than expected, General Rivera warned. They've begun implementing quantum shielding on their ships, attempting to block our interference. Primitive quantum shielding, Dr. Liu corrected. They're still 3 generations behind our technology. But, he paused, bringing up new data. They are learning. Each failure teaches them something new. They're starting to understand that there are forces at work beyond their comprehension. President Wells frowned. Could this backfire? If they realize they're being manipulated, they might become more aggressive, not less. That's exactly what's happening, Chen confirmed. Vexcar has ordered the fleet to begin probing operations in new sectors. They're looking for whoever's responsible for their failures. The Council watched as a holographic map showed Kronax scout ships moving in new patterns, testing boundaries, seeking the invisible hand that thwarted them. They were methodical, thorough, and getting dangerously close to Earth's sphere of influence. Perhaps it's time, Commander Rodriguez suggested quietly, to give them something to find. All eyes turned to her. She manipulated the tactical display, highlighting a distant sector. We let them detect something here, not us, but evidence of advanced technology. A glimpse behind the curtain, but not the whole show. A controlled revelation, Dr. Liu mused. Lead them to believe they've discovered the source of their troubles, but keep Earth hidden. It's risky, General Rivera warned. If they detect our deception, they won't, Rodriguez assured him, because we're going to use their own assumptions against them. They're looking for a powerful, advanced civilization. We'll give them traces of one, just not the one they're actually fighting. The plan was approved, and humanity's most sophisticated deception yet began to take shape. Using their quantum technology, they began leaving subtle clues in distant systems, traces of advanced energy signatures, fragments of complex code, echoes of powerful technology that seemed to vanish when examined too closely. The Kronax took the bait. Their investigation shifted focus to the new sector, convinced they'd finally found their hidden adversary. Vexcar himself led the search, his mighty fleet probing the false trail that humanity had laid. Let them chase shadows, Chen said, watching the Kronax ships move further from Earth. Every step they take following our breadcrumbs is a step away from discovering the truth. But in his private chambers aboard the Eternal Dominion, Vexcar studied the latest sensor data with growing suspicion. Something about the trail felt too perfect, too convenient. Computer, he commanded, Overlay all anomaly reports from the past 3 cycles. Show me everything. The holographic display filled with data points, mission reports, and sensor readings. And there, hidden in the complexity, was a pattern that no one had noticed before. The Supreme Commander's eyes narrowed as he began to understand. They weren't dealing with a single advanced civilization. They were dealing with something far more sophisticated, an invisible network that spanned multiple sectors, guiding events with subtle manipulation rather than brute force. Clever, he whispered. Very clever, but no one can hide forever. As if in response to his words, a new alert sounded. A Kronak scout ship had detected an unusual energy signature near a primitive system, one that hadn't even achieved spaceflight yet. A system called Sol. The Kronak's invasion fleet materialized at the edge of the Sol system, over 300 warships strong. Supreme Commander Vexkar stood on his bridge, studying the seemingly defenseless blue planet ahead. Primitive technology detected, his sensor officer reported. Chemical rockets, basic satellites. No quantum drives, no energy weapons. A pause. They haven't even achieved lunar colonization. Vexkar's scales rippled with amusement. This is what we've been reduced to. Conquering pre-spaceflight worlds. He gestured at the tactical display. Send the ultimatum. Let's get this over with. In her command center beneath Mount Denali, Director Chen watched the Kronak's fleets approach with calm determination. Around her, humanity's hidden defenses waited, still phase-shifted and invisible. They're broadcasting, Lieutenant Chen reported. Standard Kronak's surrender demands. They're giving us one planetary rotation to submit to their rule. President Wells' hologram appeared in the command center. Director Chen, the Defense Council is unanimous. We can no longer maintain our deception. You are authorized to reveal humanity's true capabilities. Chen nodded, a slight smile playing at her lips. Time to show them what they're really dealing with. Commander Rodriguez, begin Operation Daybreak. Throughout the Sol system, humanity's hidden technology began to shift. Quantum phase generators powered down, bringing thousands of defense platforms and stealth ships into normal spacetime. Biomechanical satellites emerged from their camouflage. Advanced weaponry that had lain dormant for decades hummed to life. On the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, alarms suddenly blared. Supreme Commander. The sensor officer's voice cracked with panic. Multiple signatures appearing. Everywhere. Our sensors. This is impossible. Vexkar watched in stunned silence as his tactical display transformed. The empty space around his fleet was suddenly filled with technology far more advanced than anything the Kronaks had ever encountered. Earth's defensive grid wasn't just sophisticated, it was overwhelming. This is Director Victoria Chen of the Terran Defense Force. A calm voice echoed across all Kronak's frequencies. Your fleet has entered restricted space. You will power down your weapons and maintain position. Vexkar's scales darkened with rage. You dare to command the Kronak's empire. We are the supreme power in this galaxy. You are nothing but primitives playing with technology you don't understand. Actually, Chen replied, and now there was steel in her voice. We understand it far better than you do. Allow us to demonstrate. At her command, Earth's quantum defense network activated. Invisible fields of warped space-time enveloped the Kronak's fleet. Their weapons systems went dark, their engines died, their quantum communications fell silent. Impossible, Vexkar whispered. Then, before his eyes, human ships began to phase through his fleet's formation, passing through solid matter like ghosts. Their hulls seemed to ripple and shift, organic patterns flowing across surfaces that absorbed every scan he threw at them. Your empire has spent centuries perfecting the art of war, Chen continued. We chose a different path. While you focused on conquest, we focused on understanding. While you built bigger weapons, we learned to bend reality itself. Every failure your fleet experienced, every malfunction, every miraculous escape by your intended victims, that was us. Around the Kronax fleet, more human ships emerged from quantum shift. Not hundreds, but thousands. An armada that had been hidden in plain sight, waiting for this moment. We could have revealed ourselves years ago, Chen explained. We could have fought you directly. But we wanted to see if you were capable of learning a different way. If you could understand that true power isn't about domination. Vexcar's primary heart raced as he finally understood. The Alderian rescue, the Talarian colony, the merchant ship, all of it was you. All of it. We've been guiding events, protecting the innocent, all while maintaining the illusion of being primitive. We wanted to give you the chance to change on your own. She paused. You failed. As if to emphasize her point, several human ships simply phased through the Eternal Dominion's hull, their quantum-shifted forms passing through solid matter like it didn't exist. They rematerialized inside the ship's defensive perimeter, weapons primed but not firing. So now you face a choice. Supreme Commander, you can order your fleet to attack. We will defend ourselves, and the galaxy will witness the fall of the Kronax Empire. Or you can choose another path. In the silence that followed, Vexcar stared at his tactical displays. Everything he thought he knew about galactic power structures had been upended. A supposedly primitive species had been manipulating his mighty empire like pieces on a game board. And yet, they hadn't destroyed his ships when they could have. They hadn't sought revenge for the civilizations the Kronax had conquered. Even now, with total victory in their grasp, they offered a choice. Perhaps, he realized, that was the greatest power of all. Director Chen, he said finally, his translator struggling to convey the complex harmonics of formal surrender. The Kronax Empire would like to open diplomatic negotiations. In her command center, Chen smiled. Welcome to the new galaxy, Supreme Commander. I think you'll find it's a much more interesting place than the one you try to conquer. 1 year after the Kronax surrender, the Great Hall of Earth's diplomatic center in Geneva hummed with activity. Representatives from over 50 spacefaring civilizations gathered for the first Galactic Cooperation Summit. The room itself was a testament to humanity's hidden advancement. Quantum fields maintained perfect translation for all species, while phase-shifted technology kept the peace invisibly but effectively. Director Chen, now serving as Earth's primary diplomatic representative, stood at the central podium. Beside her, Supreme Commander Vexcar, now Reform Leader Vexcar, waited to address the assembly. The sight of a Kronax leader standing peacefully beside a human would have been unthinkable just a year ago. For centuries, Chen began, humanity watched the stars. We saw civilizations rise and fall. We witnessed conquest and subjugation, and we chose a different path. She gestured to the assembled delegates. We hid our true capabilities not out of fear, but because we wanted to understand, to learn, to find a better way. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Many species were still coming to terms with the revelation that Earth, long dismissed as a primitive backwater, had been secretly guiding galactic events for decades. The Kronax Empire taught us an important lesson, Chen continued. Power based on fear and domination is ultimately fragile. True strength comes from cooperation, from understanding, from choosing to protect rather than destroy. Vexcar stepped forward, his scales shimmering with formal markings of peace. My people believe that technological superiority gave us the right to rule, he admitted. Humanity showed us that the most advanced technology isn't about building better weapons, it's about finding better solutions. The hall's quantum displays showed images from the past year. Kronax ships working alongside former enemies to protect trade routes. Human phase shift technology being adapted to help terraform hostile worlds. The Guardian Network, now operating openly, coordinating disaster response across multiple sectors. But perhaps our greatest achievement, Chen said, isn't technological at all. It's the change in how we think about power and progress. She activated a final display, showing the dramatic decrease in interstellar conflicts over the past year. When we revealed ourselves to the Kronax, we didn't just show them advanced technology. We showed them that there was another way to be strong. In the audience, Dr. Elena Santos, the same scientist who had detected the original Ulderian distress signal, sat beside a Tellurian researcher. They were discussing the possibilities of combining human quantum physics with Tellurian bioengineering. Similar conversations were happening throughout the hall as species that had once feared each other now explored collaboration. Today, Chen announced, "We're proposing the formation of the Galactic Scientific Coalition. Not an empire, not a military alliance, but a partnership dedicated to advancing knowledge and protecting peace." She smiled. "Earth will share our technology gradually, responsibly, but we will share it. Because true power isn't about keeping others weak. It's about helping them grow strong." The proposal was met with overwhelming support. Even former rival species voted to join, recognizing that cooperation offered opportunities that conquest never could. Later, in a private moment, Vexkar approached Chen. "You could have destroyed us," he said quietly. "When we threatened Earth, you could have wiped out our entire fleet." "We could have," Chen agreed. "But that would have only proved that superior firepower wins. We wanted to prove something else, that the strongest civilization isn't the one with the best weapons, but the one with the wisdom to know when not to use them." High above Geneva, humanity's quantum ships patrolled in plain sight, their organic hulls gleaming in the sunlight. But they were no longer alone. Vessels from a dozen species now trained alongside them, learning not just about advanced technology, but about the responsibility that came with it. Commander Rodriguez, watching from Guardian Control, smiled as she saw a Kronax destroyer practicing phase shift maneuvers alongside a human cruiser. A year ago, they were trying to conquer the galaxy, she mused. Now they're learning how to protect it. "That's the real victory," Chen replied, joining her at the observation window. "Not that we stopped them, but that we changed them. Changed everyone, really." As the sun set over Earth, ships from across the galaxy moved in harmony through the solar system that had once seemed so primitive. Humanity had finally stepped out of the shadows, but they had done so not as conquerors or saviors, but as teachers and partners. The galaxy was entering a new age, one where advancement wasn't measured in territorial conquest or military might, but in the ability to work together, to protect rather than destroy, to find solutions rather than create conflicts. And perhaps that was humanity's greatest achievement, showing the galaxy that the most powerful force wasn't the ability to take life, but the wisdom to preserve it. The strength wasn't in domination, but in cooperation. That true power wasn't about making others kneel, but helping them stand. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter that night, as if reflecting the hope of a new dawn, a future where the galaxy's species would rise together, guided not by fear or force, but by the simple, profound truth that humanity had known all along. The greatest victories are the ones that don't require a single shot to be fired.